Welcome. I'm back with another reading, another chapter reading from the book written by George G.M. James, Stolen Legacy. You got me? You're with the Nasty Pastor. Please, before we get started, you got what I'm saying? Go on over to my YouTube channel. If you're on my YouTube channel viewing this reading, subscribe. If you haven't, please, I thank you. If you have, I thank you if you're thinking about it. Please, go and put a like on some stuff. Share some stuff. Comment on some stuff. You got me? Look, so far it's been an enlightening reading. So far, I can definitely say that, the book been changed, the book been altered, but there's still fruit in here. There's still fruit sustaining the fact of the events that happened in Kemet, that happened in ancient Egypt, that happened in Upper Africa. You get me? Happened in Northern Africa. You feel me? There is evident right here in America show how intelligent, how far ahead we was of every culture existed. You feel me? Every culture that was on this rock with us before Christ, it shows how far ahead we was. Look, let's get into this reading. And we're reading from chapter 4, but we are reading part 2 of chapter 4. And I'm not going to say it's short. I'm not going to say it's long. But what I will do is let you know there's an A part, there's a B part, there's a C part, there's a D part, and from D part, you got the ending. So what I'm going to try to do for you today, I'm going to try to give you A and B of Stolen Legacy, Chapter 4, Part 2, which the title is The Effects of the Conquest of Egypt by Alexander the Great. Did you hear me? The effects, you know what that means? By him conquering Kemet. You feel me? By him conquering Kemet, there is a action. There was a effect. You feel me? A effect. Got me? Something traumatizing, if you ask me, that he done. Let's roll. As elsewhere mentioned, note, Part A. The Royal Library and Museum, together with temples and other libraries, are looted. As elsewhere mentioned, it was an ancient custom of invading armies to loot libraries and temples in order to capture books and manuscripts which were regarded as great treasures. You give me? Great treasures. In a past reading and another reading, and I'm going to do some cross-promoting right here, you know what I mean? Because it's knowledge, it's wisdom, you know what I mean? If you go check out The Fall of America, I want to say that reading should be available. Just go check out The Fall of America, but I'd rather for you to stream it all. So I can't pinpoint exactly the exact reading. You got what I'm saying? But I'm talking to you in there about how before Christ, you know what I mean, the biggest treasure was knowledge, wisdom. You got what I'm saying? And once again, if I'm wrong about it being in The Fall of America, go check out the full readings, the chapter readings of Genesis. It's in one of them. It's in one of them. But I talked to you about, what was valuable back then before Christ. You know what I mean? Back then before technology became a part of evolution. You know what I mean? And you know, the things that we mastered in, you know, there was a lot of jealousy in the world. You got what I'm saying? There was a lot of envy in the world. There was a lot of wanting to just take from us instead of, you know, presenting themselves in a respectful manner. You got what I'm saying? Because history shows we wasn't stingy. We was bringing people in, opening up our temples, opening up our libraries to them. You got what I'm saying? History tells you that. History shows you that. You can go into another culture history and it would tell you how generous we was. You get me? How generous we was. We wasn't stingy with the knowledge we possessed. We wanted to give it away. We wanted you to become civilized. We wanted you to understand that you don't have to go out your backyard and wipe your butt with a leaf off a tree. We wanted you to understand you did not have to go years without taking a bath. You can go and build you a little foundation in your kingdom, in your castle, in your, in your throne, in your palace, and bathe. You get what I'm saying? Bathe. We wanted you to understand that leaves was used as soap. Leaves was used as a way of healing also. We didn't want you to go around being dumb. We didn't want you to bring your viruses and your pestilence and your diseases into our kingdom. We wanted you to be just as enlightened as we was. Let me get on back into this. A few instances would be enough to verify this custom. A, we are informed that during the Persian invasion beginning with Cambyses, the temples of Egypt were not only stripped of their gold and silver, but rifled. Let me pause this for a minute. And the temples were not only stripped of their gold and silver, but rifled for their ancient records. Every Egyptian temple carried a secret library with secret manuscripts and books. B, we are also informed that when Athens was captured by the Romans in 84 BC, the library of books, Athens was captured by the Romans in 84 BC. The library of books said to have belonged to Aristotle was also captured and taken to Rome. Just as in the invasion of Egypt by the Persians, the invading armies stripped the temples of their gold, silver, and sacred books. And just as in the capture of Athens by the Romans, Sulla carried off the only library of books which he found. So it is to be expected of Alexander the Great in his invasion of Egypt. One of the first things that he and his companions and armies would do would be to search for the treasures of the land and capture them. These was kept in temples and libraries and consisted of gold and silver, out of which the gods and ceremonial vessels were made, and sacred books and manuscripts kept both in libraries and in the holy of holies of temples. Holies of temples. It is my firm belief that this indeed was the great opportunity which Alexander gave Aristotle and enabled him and his pupils to carry off as many books as they wanted from the royal library and to convert it into a research center. Apart from the royal library at Alexandria, there was also another famous library nearby, the royal library of Thebes, the Menepteion, which was founded by Pharaoh Seti. The Menepteion was completed by Ramses II, but little occurs in history about the greatest of the Egyptian royal libraries. I want to say this to you, there have been a lot pharaohs to have sat on the throne of Kemet. And one thing I can say is this, right? I'm gonna be really, really honest with you, because see, there at one time there was revolutions, if that's the best way to explain this to you. There was revolutions in Africa where that you had West Africa come up, which I forgot the name of the tribe, you know what I mean? I forgot their name, but they came up and ended up ruling Kemet. They come from the west, they came from the east, they came from the south. All parts of Africa had a turn at sitting on the throne in Kemet. Also, the Middle East came through, had their turn at sitting on the throne in Kemet. But I say to you this right here. I know for a fact there are structures, there are infrastructures, there are buildings that are not complete. But I will say this, there are certain buildings of value that the next pharaoh, you got me, or the next king, because sometimes a pharaoh runs the whole land, oversees the whole Africa. A king only have that piece of it. You feel what I'm saying? Okay, you're the king of the west. You're the king of the east. You're the king of the south. And there's a king in the north, which tells you that Africa was what? Divided. You get what I'm saying? Divided. Now, when you speak of a pharaoh, when you say a pharaoh, the culture is one name. The culture is one word, one action. You feel me? You get me? So I say to you this right here, and my point I'm trying to make is that there are things that was left on the table that the next pharaoh had to come in and finish up. So if you can understand that about our culture, please understand the way the presidential office does. There are things that Trump left on the table that Biden was supposed to, or is, getting closure on. You understand me? There are things when the next POTUS enter office for 4 years that Biden and Kamala Harris have left on the table that need to be finished. And it has to be finished under the next POTUS 4 years. Let's go and get back into this read. And the conclusion, the closure, and the example is what I'm trying to make. Your agenda still rolls into the next 4 years. If your agenda has not been fulfilled, if what you set forth to do has not been fulfilled, it does trickle into the next 4 years. Great as the Royal Library of Alexandria might have been, we see that being Royal Library is something far more magnificent. Hold up, was I there? Hold up. Let's back it up a little bit. Yeah, let's back it up. Because things that he and his things on will do would be to search. Okay, let's start right here. I'm a little ahead of myself. I apologize. And let's roll. It is my firm belief that this indeed was the great opportunity which Alexander gave Aristotle and enabled him and his pupils to carry off as many books as they wanted from the Royal Library and to convert it into a research center. Apart from the Royal Library at Alexandria, there were also another famous library nearby the Royal Library of Thebes, the Meniphyton, which was founded by Pharaoh Seti. The Meniphytion was completed by Ramses II, but little occurs in history about this greatest of Egyptian royal libraries. However, any invading army would first loot the royal library of Alexandria and then would turn their attention to the Menethetian at Thebes. They will also visit the cities of Memphis and Heliopolis, and likewise loot their libraries and temples. This was the ancient custom and certainly one of the ways in which the Greeks received their education from Egyptians. It is therefore an erroneous belief that the Greeks on Egyptian soil and through their own native ability set up a great university at Alexandria and turned out great scholars. On the other hand, since it is a well-known fact that Egypt was the land of temples and libraries, we can see how comparatively easy it was for the Greeks to strip other Egyptian libraries of their books in order to maintain the new library at Alexandria, after it had been already looted by Aristotle and his pupils, the Greeks. School and the succeeding converted the royal libraries by Alexandria into a research center by transferring Aristotle's schools and pupils from Athens to this great Egyptian library. And therefore, the students who studied there received instructions from the Egyptian priests and teachers until they died out. The difficulty of language and interpretation made it imperative for the Greeks to use Egyptian teachers. The Greeks did not carry culture and learning to Egypt, but found it already there and wisely settled in that country in order to absorb as much as possible of this culture. We're going to end that chapter reading, but we're going to end that part of chapter 4 reading. And I want to say this to you, you know what I mean, that it's telling you right here how far ahead, how we thought, how educated we was. You feel me? So when I tell you that our oppressor know to pollute our minds, pollute our bodies, to turn our communities against each other. You got what I'm saying? To divide the black community, to keep control. You feel me? Control. To keep controlling it. You get me? Look, the black man is inferior. The black man has always been a problem to society. You got me? You can either understand who you are, why you're being treated the way you are, or you can be somebody's puppet. You can be somebody's slave. You can be somebody dum-dum. You feel me? I choose to be a person of education. I choose to be a person of open understanding. I choose to be a person that understands you, but know not to go too far with you so that I don't get caught into your control. I don't get captive into your enslavement. Look, once again, I am the Nasty Pastor. Please go to my YouTube channel, OFM Kemet Edition. You can find the playlist of Stolen Legacy. You can find the playlist of On Isis and Osiris. You can find the playlist of the teachings of Peter Hotep. And yes, there's a playlist for the extras I give. You got me? Go and get yourself enlightened. Do yourself a favor. Right now is July the 2nd. We got 6 more months in this year. Let's make it successful. I'm out, and I love you.